Have a pleasant day, each and everyone. I'm Algene R. Villanora, and my topic is all about literary prose and drama. What is prose? Prose is a verbal or written language that follows the natural flow of speech. It is the most common form of writing using in both fiction and nonfiction. Prose comes from the Latin prosa oratia, meaning straightforward. There are four common types of prose. First, non-fictional prose. Prose that is a true story or factual account of events or information is non-fiction. Second is fictional prose, a literary work of fiction. This is the most popular type of literary prose, used in novels and short stories and generally has characters, plots, setting, and dialogue. Third is heroic prose, a literary work that is either written down or preserved through oral tradition but is meant to be recited. Last one, prose poetry. Poetry written in prose form. This literary hybrid can sometimes have rhythmic and rhyming patterns. Function of prose. It is the standard style of writing used for most spoken dialogues, fiction as well as typical and factual writing and discourses. It is also the common language used in newspapers, magazines, literature, encyclopedias, broadcasting, philosophy, law, history, and the sciences, and many other forms of communication. What is the difference between prose and poetry? Prose is a novel. Example is a novel and versus the poetry. And poetry are roses are red, violets are blue. Prose is a type of literature in which the language is used in its natural and organic form. Poetry is a type of literature that employs the aesthetic and rhythmic characteristics of language to convey meaning. Prose and poetry both have unique qualities that distinguish one from the other. Prose follows natural patterns of speech and communication. Also has a grammatical structure with sentences and paragraphs. Uses everyday language. Sentences and thoughts continue across line. Poetry. It is a traditional poetry has deliberate patterns such as rhythm and rhyme. Many poems have a formal metrical structure, repeating patterns of beats. Incorporates more figurative language. Poems visually stand out on a page with narrow columns, varying lines, lengths, and more white space on a page than prose. Deliberately line breaks. Okay. All-time best prose writers. So, it is a list all times best prose writers is always going to be subjective list, of course. But here is our current list of the world's best prose writers. First, William Shakespeare, born on 1564 to 1660, best known for King Lear, Romeo and Juliet, and Hamlet. So this is William Shakespeare. An English poet, playwright, and actor, widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language. Shakespeare wrote 39 plays, 154 sonnets, two long narrative poems, and a few other verses. His plays have been translated into every major living language and are performed more often than those of any other playwright. His early plays were primarily comedies and histories, which are regarded as some of the best work ever produced of this type. He then wrote mainly tragedies including Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, and Macbeth until about 1608 when he wrote tragicomedies. Next is Fyodor Dostoevsky, born in 1821 to 1881, best known for Crime and Punishment, Demons and the Idiot. So this is Fyodor Dostoevsky. He is a Russian novelist, short story writer, essayist, journalist, and philosopher. Dostoevsky's works explore human psychology in the troubled times, politically, socially, and spiritually in 19th century Russia. His works involves philosophical and religious themes. Dostoevsky wrote 11 novels, 3 novellas, 17 short stories, and numerous other works that have influenced future authors about both in and outside of Russia. Many literary critics rate him as one of the greatest psychologists in all world literature genres. His 1864 novella Notes from Underground is considered to be one of the first works of essentialist literature. Loi Tolstoy, born in 1828-1910, best known for War and Peace, Anna Karenina, A Confession. This is Loi Tolstoy. Count Lev Nikolaevich Tolstoy was a Russian writer famous for his realist fiction. He first achieved literary acclaim in his 20s with his semi-autobiographical work. Tolstoy also wrote short stories, several novellas, as well as plays and numerous philosophical essays. Tolstoy's ideas on nonviolent resistance, which he wrote about in The Kingdom of God is Within You, were to have a profound impact on Mohandas Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., and James Bevel. Victor Hugo, in 1802 to 1885, best known for Les Miserables, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, or The Et Ballad. So, we all know that we already watched The Hunchback of Notre Dame, so Victor Hugo is the author, or the writer, or the playwright. So this is Victor Hugo. One of the greatest French writers, Hugo was a poet, novelist, and dramatist of the Romantic movement. Many of his works have inspired music, both during his lifetime and after his death, including the musicals Notre Dame de Paris and Les Miserables. He also campaigned for social causes such as the abolition of capital punishment. Later in life, Hugo became a passionate supporter of republicanism. After years of being a committed royalist, and his work touches upon most of the significant political and social issues and the artistic trends of his time. Next is J.R.R. Tolkien Aubrey, born in 1892 to 1973. And J.R.R. Tolkien is one of my best and favorite author, best known for The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and The Silmarillion. I already watched this video, and the first is The Hobbit, next is The Lord of the Rings, and I'm looking forward to watch or read The Silmarillion. So this is J.R.R. Tolkien. As you see here, This is the map of Middle Earth. So, John Ronald Reuel Tolkien was an English writer, poet, philologist, and professor at Oxford University. And Tolkien's extensive notes and unpublished manuscripts, including the Silmarillion that were published after his death, together with The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, form a connected body of tales, poems, fictional histories, invented languages, and literary essay about a fantasy world called Arda and Middle Earth within it. So as I discussed about the map, so that was the map of Middle Earth. And also, his books were sold in millions and is current on the list of best-selling books in the world. Also, it has movie adaptation to it which also gained box office hits around the world. Next is Charles Dickens, born in 1812 to 1817, best known for Great Expectations, A Christmas Carol, and Bleak House. So, this is Charles Dickens, an English writer and social critic. Dickens was famous in his own lifetime, giving lectures and performing readings. By the 20th century, critics and scholars had recognized him as a literary genius for his realism, comedy, prose style, unique characterization, and social criticism, while others complained his works was sentimental and lacked psychological depth. Despite his lack of formal education, Dickens edited a weekly journal for 20 years, wrote 15 novels, 5 novellas, hundreds of short stories, and non-fiction articles. His novels were mostly published in monthly or weekly installments, which kept readers in suspense and allowed him to modify his plot and character development based on feedback. George Orwell, born in 1903 to 1950, best known for 1984 and Animal Farm. Born Eric Arthur Blair, George Orwell as an English novelist, essayist, journalist, and critic. His work is marked by lucid prose, awareness of social injustice, opposition to totalitarianism, and outspoken support of democratic socialism. His non-fiction works include The Road to Wigan Pier, about his life in the north of England, In Homage to Catalonia, about his experience in the Spanish Civil War. It is thanks to Orwell that we have the terms Big Brother, Thought Police, Rome 101, Memory Hall, Newspeak, Doublethink, Prose, and Person and Thought Crime. Mark Twain, born in 1835 to 1910, best known for Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Did you notice before there's an animation of the Adventure of Tom Sawyer? So Mark Twain is the one who wrote the playwright. So this is Mark Twain. He is born in Samuel Longhorn Clements. Mark Twain was an American writer, humorist, entrepreneur, publisher, and lecturer. He was to become known as the father of American literature. His short story, The Celebrate Jumping Frog of Calaveras Country was published in 1865 and brought international attention. Edgar Allan Poe, born in 1836 to 1847. Also, Edgar Allan Poe is one of my uh, best author, and I already read the Raven. And also he is best known for the Raven, the Telltale Heart, and the Cost of Amontillado. These books, as I already read these books. So this is Edgar Allan Poe. His books was it has a lot of lesson that you can learn. These three books: The Raven, The Telltale Heart, and The Cause of Amontillado. He is an American writer, editor, and literary critic. Poe is best known for his poetry and short stories, particularly his tales of mystery and macabre. Poe is generally considered the inventor of the detective fiction genre and helped the emerging science fiction genre. Jane Austen, known born in 1775 to 1817. So he is the playwright of the Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, and Emma. So this is Jane Austen. She is an English novelist known best for his six major novels, which interpreted, critiqued, and commented on the English landed gentry at the end of the 18th century. Austen's plots often explore the independence of women in marriage, for economic security and the pursuit of favorable and social standing. Her works were published anonymously and gave a critique of the novels written in the second half of the 18th century to become part of the transition to 19th century literary realism. Her use of biting irony, along with her realism and social commentary, have earned her acclaim among critics and scholars. What is drama? Drama is a mode of fictional representation through dialogue and performance. It is one of the literary genres which is an imitation of some action. Drama is also a type of play written for theater, television, radio, and film. Types of drama. First is comedy. Comedies are lighter in tone than ordinary works and provide a happy conclusion. Tragedy. Tragic dramas use darker themes such as disaster, pain, and death. Next, farce. Generally, a farce is a nonsensical genre of drama, which is often overacts in engaged slapstick humor. Melodrama is an exaggerated drama which is sensational and appeals directly to the sense of the audience. Last one is musical drama. In musical dramas, dramatists not only tell their stories through acting and dialogue, but through dance as well as music. So, the example of musical drama is High School Musical, and then Entangled. And melodrama is example is uh the melodrama. Oh, I forgot about melodrama. And in tragedy is in William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. The comedy, there's a lot of comedy we watch. Also the melodrama. In melodrama is like exaggerated dramas. We have a lot of like it is unbelievable. So that's it. Function of drama. The rules of drama ranges from instructive, educative, informative, entertaining, therapeutic, social, cultural, religious, political experience, and it enables us to learn about ourselves, our society, and about life in general. Famous playwrights. William Shakespeare, years 52, born in 1564 to 1661, nationality English, literary style comedies, histories, tragedies, and tragicomedies. Notable works, The Two Gentlemen of Verona in 1589, Merchant of Venice, 1596, Romeo and Juliet in 1597, Julius Caesar in 1599, Hamlet 1599, Othello 1603, King Lear 1605, Macbeth in 1606, The Tempest 1610. The significance is he is regarded as the undisputed English master of writing, from stories, poetry to plays. He is regarded as an icon of English culture and without question, and his significance is the greatest playwright to have ever lived. Next, Henrik Ibsen, year 78, and then born in 1828 to 1906. Nationality Norwegian, literary style modernism, realism, and naturalism. Notable works. Brand 1867, Peer Gynt in 1867, also Emperor and Galilean 1873, A Doll's House in 1879, Ghost 1881, An Enemy of the People in 1882, The Wild Duck in 1884, Hedda Gabler 1881, The Master Builder in 1893, and When We Dead Awaken in 1889. Significance. He is often regarded as the greatest playwright of the modern era and the father of realism. So the significance is also is as the greatest playwright. His plays on poetry went on to inspire many playwrights to follow, such as George Bernard Shaw or Arthur Miller, Oscar Wilde, James Joyce, and Eugene O'Neill. Anton Chekhov, years 44, born in 1860 to 1904. Nationality Russian. University, First Moscow State Medical University. Literary style, modernism. And her works, Ivanov in 1887, The Seagull, 1895, Uncle Vanya, 1895, Three Sisters, 1901, The Lady with the Dog, 1903, The Cherry Orchard, 1904. Significance. Chekhov's plays demonstrated the first modern format of realistic dialogue among character actors. So, the significance of Chekhov's is he is a realistic dialogue. In 1903, he wrote one of his most famous short stories, The Lady with the Dog. Sophocles, year 90, and he was born in 497 BC to 405 BC. So BC is before Christ. Nationality is a Greek. Literary style, classical tragedy. His works, Axas in the 5th century BC, Antigone in 441 BC, Woman of Trachis, 5th century BC, Oedipus in Rex, 429 BC, Electra, 5th century BC, Peloxitis, 409 BC, Oedipus at Colonus, 406 BC. Significance: he is considered one of the greatest of the classic Greek tragedians, most notable for his masterpiece play of Oedipus Rex. Oedipus Rex, this famous play revolves around a mythological Greek king of Thebes, who is driven mad when he discovers he was killed his father and married his mother. So, the significance is he is the greatest of classic Greek tragedians. This is Arthur Miller. Years 89 years old, born in 1915 to 2005. Nationality American. University of Michigan. Literary style realism, symbolism, expressionist. Awards is Pulitzer Prize for Drama in 1949. His works is All My Sons in 1947, Death of a Salesman in 1949, The Crucible in 1953, A View from the Bridge in 1955, The Misfits in 1961, and The Significance. He is regarded as one of the all-time greatest American playwrights, having produced over 50 works of note, and his greatest play, Death of a Salesman, was considered his magnum, magnum opus, which won him the Pulitzer Prize for Drama in 1941. His works demonstrated realistic social and political themes with elements of symbolism. So, he has the significance here is he also the all-time greatest American playwrights that produced over 50 works of notes. Thank you and have a nice day, everyone.